Custom Garage. Now, if it was nice weather outside, I would roll this outside, use the plasma cutter. I don't like using the plasma cutter inside, so we'll just use a cut-off wheel and we'll cut it. We'll do the passenger side first. Nothing fancy, just gonna cut them. So we got one side cut, ground down and smoothed out. Now we're gonna jump on the other side and do the same thing. So today we're gonna start stripping the frame out. Take the motor out first. I pushed the frame out, just make it a lot easier to work on. Gonna jack this up, take the motor tranny and transfer case all out together. Then we're gonna roll everything else out and put that in the spray booth, or probably in front of the spray booth. Clean all the frame up that we can. Then take the tires and the suspension off it and just put a bare frame in the spray booth to get painted. So for now, let's just get this motor off. Okay, so the engine hoist is on the engine. The chain going back to the transmission to kind of balance things and hold things up. We're gonna pop the bolts out of the motor mounts and hopefully just pick this thing up. Well, I got the engine in the shop. It was a tough one. What I ended up doing, putting a wheel dolly underneath the back so that would move. Because this baby's heavy. I'm definitely going to use the lift to pick it back up, put it in the frame again. We're not going to do this because way too much work. So next time we pick this thing up, we'll use the lift like we did last time, and we'll just pick it up. It'll be a heck of a lot easier. But for now, it's good where it is. The frame's outside. I'm going to start taking it apart. We'll take the engine mount bracket across here apart. We'll take the tranny brackets out, take the shocks off, then drop the leaf springs out. So yeah, got some cleaning up to do on this frame, get this thing ready. But yeah, ain't bad. Well, we've unbolted the frame. I put the rotisserie on the back just to hold it up. We're going to address first, I called Rough Country about the springs and why they're so far forward. The guy I talked to, I don't think he knew what the hell a spring was, to tell you the truth, but that's okay. I'll figure something out. I'll make it work. I'll make it right. So anyway, looking forward from the back, first thing I gotta do is fix this spring perch in the front. Got a little bit missing here. So what I did, So I made a piece. Gonna go just like that, and I'm gonna weld it in. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this off, clean this all up nice, and then I'm gonna weld this piece on. I probably could have tacked some welds in here, but I don't know how strong that actually would have been. This is a better idea. I mean, I could have bought a whole piece. Not gonna do that. We're gonna make what we can. So I'm gonna cut this off, and then we're gonna weld that piece in. What I've done is beveled this edge and this edge. I'm going to give a small space in between the space of what the wheel is. So I got another wheel here. I'm going to kind of like just space it so that I've got a small gap between them, and I'm going to weld it. Now what I did here is I put a bolt between here with a nut on both sides. That'll keep this from moving when I weld it. Because now it's bolted to the other side, it'll keep the correct distance across. And now I can put a weld in it. Okay, we'll let that cool, and then we're going to grind it down and weld it to the other side. If we don't have enough penetration, it might be on flux. Can't tell. But we'll grind it down, make sure it looks good. So today we got the frame here all cleaned up nice. That's all welded in. We got that welded in for the leaf spring perch. And we got this one welded in. So these are in good shape. Next we're gonna hit this this patch I put in, and then we're gonna move forward. There's just a few more things up front to do. Gonna get the front end off. The rear end's already disconnected, and it's sitting on my rotisserie. Now it's just sitting on there. It ain't bolted to it, so it's just sitting. But it's holding it up. It's getting the frame up in the air. We'll get this one here done the same. I'll probably grab the other rest part of the rotisserie so I can just roll this thing around. And we'll get this in the spray booth hopefully tomorrow. So it's like I said, there's a few more things to do on the front. Get a few more things cleaned up. I got some welding to do on the bottom of the frame. And hopefully we can get this in the booth tomorrow. If not, we'll paint it Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, we got progress today. And we'll just keep going. I'm taking the bolts out of the cross member here. And we're gonna pop this up, take this out. Take out the steering box and the front suspension. We got some cleaning up to do there and there. Those were the old motor mounts used to be. We'll take off the brake lines up front here. Get this thing stripped up and cleaned up today. Today I finished taking off all the brackets, like the ones that was there. We cleaned up the old motor mount brackets. Ground down some of the frame, cleaned up the welds in here on the plate that I put in. Pretty much spent the day doing that, rounding off these edges so they're not just sharp points. Same with that one. And that pretty much did everything I needed to do. What I need to do now is put it outside, flip it over, then bring it back in upside down. And I gotta put a plate on the bottom here still. So I'm gonna put a plate there, and I gotta, on that side, I gotta put a nut in here and in there. They're broken off, so I gotta cut that out, put a nut on the inside. I come out the steering box. So I got a few things to do when it's upside down. I'm gonna bring it out, sweep the floor out, then we'll come back in, and the frame is just strapped onto the rotisserie, so I can't really just flip it over. I'm not gonna make a bracket just to do this for a couple seconds, so for now we're just gonna get it outside, flip it over, and get back to welding. I was thinking as I was doing this, I probably should have taped it, but basically take it off of here, flipped it over, putting it back on. Well, let's get it back inside and get going. Okay, we're going to weld these plates in. The weld to the inner side, the weld to the outer. Just mostly for cosmetic. I don't think it's going to make much difference, but I want it so that this looks flat. I want it to look like this. So I'm going to weld these in both sides. I'm going to weld that bracket in. And we're going to cut two squares out. I'll show you these when I get these to these. But for the other ones, it's just welding. So we're going to get this welded up and we'll come back. These are all welded up on both sides. I'll grind them, probably weld them again, make sure they got square, nice edges like this on it. That's what I'm looking for, so you got to build it up a little bit. So I'll let these cool a little bit, they're still warm. In the meantime, what I did is I cut this hole out. This is where the bolts go for the power steering, and they broke off on the inside. So it's not terrible. Steel's still pretty thick. What I'm gonna do is weld a nut on the inside here and here, and then weld this piece right back on. So it'll be exactly where it needs to be. It'll be the right size, and we'll just put it in just like that and weld it in. What I'll do is I'll take a grinding wheel like I did before and space it so that it's at the right height, because it's cut at the thickness of a grinding wheel. So we'll do that. We'll get the nuts and stuff together, and then we're gonna weld them in. What I've done here is I put the piece of metal on the bracket, then run a bolt through it with a nut on both sides. That's gonna keep it nice and tight, and it's gonna line up the bolt exactly where it needs to be so that this bracket will fit right on. I put one over here too. Wasn't threaded all the way, so it didn't have a nut on this side. That's just to keep things straight. I'm gonna tack weld this. I'll weld this in place where I want it to be. I'll take it off. I'll put this on this side, and I'll do the same thing. And that will get it where it needs to be without having an issue later on, finding out that I'm off for 32nd of an inch and it won't bolt in. So let me weld this thing up. Maybe we'll set it right there, weld this thing up, and then we'll get the other side done. Okay, we'll just repeat the process. I got the nuts welded on in the back. I can put that back in the frame and weld it in. Okay, I'm going to tack this first. Like I said, I'm going to do is I'm going to put a spacer of one wheel in. That should put me at the right height this way. Okay, now we're going to crank the heat up, weld that thing in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grind up all the welds here, grind up the welds back there, and if I have to, I'll lay another bead on those to get the corners square like I want. Today we're going to attempt to get some sandblasting done. Looks a little iffy right now, but it's not supposed to rain, I guess, tonight. Hey guys, yeah, I got a little ahead of myself. Sandblasted some of this, and I realized I never put the camera on, so we're going to keep blasting.
겁진 널 본 적이 없으니까 You keep me up every night 내 빛의 띠같이 마침표 없는 dream I can't help falling in love Maybe I just wanna feel like you la 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 Next to me right here right now 밝아오는 아침이 약속할 만큼 난 너를 더 알고 싶어 I wanna dive into your arms Nowhere to hide Just like You're beautiful nightmare You're beautiful nightmare Beautiful night And I want to stay there with you 돌이킬 수도 없을 만큼만 달콤한 고통은 다다라다 손 내밀면 닿을 듯 한 줌의 신기루
Got most of the frame blasted yesterday. I got late. I didn't want the dew to land on it, so I stopped. So there's a little bit more to do with the front here. Got a little bit more on there. I want to blast. Okay, I'm going to fill in that hole right there. So, going to grind up some welds here. Okay, most of this looks pretty good. I still got to weld and grind the bottom of this rail, get that all squared out. So there's a little bit more grinding to do now. But yesterday was like the last day of sunshine for a while now. It's supposed to rain the next couple days. So I'm not sure when I'm gonna be able to get back outside and finish blasting. Like I say, underneath here there's a little more to do. You see when they painted for the factory, they ran it pretty good. So yeah, we're gonna finish up on what we gotta do here and get this thing ready so I can finish sandblasting it and figure out what I gotta do next. So the bottom of the frame rail is all welded up. Went back and touched up a few spots I saw. There's a factory weld here that looked like crap, so I welded that up. Yeah, the weather's not going to be great here for the next bunch of days. So I don't know what else we're going to do. We might start putting the car together. It's just a long, slow, tedious process. But it needs to be done, so we're going to do that. And hopefully on the weekend I can finish sandblasting and get this frame painted. So as soon as it's painted, we start putting things together. But yeah, we still got a lot more to do. So the sun finally came out and we finished up blasting. So yeah, it's in the shade a little bit, but there's still some black paint on it, the original frame paint, and wasn't too worried about that. I just want to get most of the heavy rust off. So, waiting for the compressor now to build up pressure. Then I'm going to blow this thing off really, really good, and I'm going to paint it. So I'm really excited about that, and let's get some paint on this thing. Okay, so we're ready to paint. We got Sem Rust Shield with a gloss hardener. So it's an 8-to-1 mix. It goes on pretty thick. And we're gonna get this thing painted now. Okay, we're gonna set you up on this side. We're not gonna move you around for the whole thing, but you'll get the gist of it.
Just like you're
Okay, I guess the phone died. So we got 2 coats of black on. Say it's a frame. This stuff laid on like spraying mud. We laid it on good and heavy and thick. Gonna let it flash off. Hopefully I can move this thing in the next hour or so before the sun goes down. But frame's painted. We're gonna get it inside and we'll start looking at getting the suspension done. So we made progress anyway. It's been a rough week. It rained just about every day this week. So thankfully now we're in good shape. Next we'll get the suspension put in, but that's gonna be it for this video. So I got my goal. I wanted to get the frame painted. So if you made it this far, man, hit the like, subscribe, notifications, leave me a comment. I appreciate them all, and we'll catch you on the next one.